Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. You're looking at the drive section of that Massimo GKM200 go-kart. I'm trying to figure out if this thing is alive or dead. If it's dead, I took a hammering on that project. Now that the machine is level, if you check the oil, seems to be fine. That's a good thing. The oil looks actually pretty good. So we got some happiness going on there. When they took it apart, it looks like they labeled up the wires, which is all good. And on the tail end here, I don't see any damage at all. What I did is I kind of taped up the ends anywhere where, you could cause some kind of short or problem. So first step towards starting it right, do no harm. So if we tape up all the wires, that's a good thing. So here I've put a 14 millimeter on the motor, and I just want to turn it over a couple of times, make sure nothing horrible happened. And she seems to look good. I think I'm turning it over backwards, but even that way it seems to have compression, so that's all happy. I'm to the point where I want to put some juice to the starter, which is buried in there. But you could get this cover off, the electric box. Warning, void if CDI tampered. I think the jaws of life managed to void my warranty. So here's what's in here, and this right here is the starting solenoid. So that's what I'm trying to get to. I got to cut this tie wrap, expose the top of it, then I can do what I need to do. And we got the blue and white wire. So in no time at all, we'll put spark to this thing and she'll be running. One side of the jump pack to ground, the other side goes to the lug that goes to the starter. You can tell this goes to the battery because it's got the lug that powers the rest of the all-terrain vehicle on it. So that one goes to the starter, and you hit the... Wow, we're almost running. I put some gas into here, portable CDI. You can see I have the red wire, the input to the CDI unit from the pulse generator. I have it plugged in right there with the blue and white. I have, what do I do with ground? I've lost my ground. Oh, there's ground. I have ground plugged in right there, which goes to the green. Battery jumper hooked up. And somewhere, there it is, I have a ground from the CDI box to the engine. I got the spark plug wire on. I always like to talk my way through it, so if it doesn't start, then I could just be sure. I had starting fluid here somewhere. So let's just give it a hoot. Oh, there we go. A little hoot of starting fluid. Actually, let me set up the camera, then I'll give it a hoot of starting fluid. And we'll see if this thing will fire up. I think you could see everything important. I think you could hear the motor. I'm assuming she's going to start. This whole thing looks pretty clean. So, CDI on. Just a hood'll do ya. Throttle. And let's go for it. Gear obviously. Sounds pretty good. Sounds As you look at the cart frame, you could see there's two kinds of damage. First of all, the tree damage. So taking a few moments to look at the tree damage, you can see how this is pushed back, right? I put the steering rod there just so that you could see how far back this is all pushed. This is where the A arms would attach to the frame here and there, and you could see how far it pushed all of this back. Even as you look at this, right, this frame is bent here and there. So here from the crash, obviously all the way back here. And if I go to the other side, you can see how this is all pushed in compared to the way this is, right? That's one mount, there's the other. Here's where the shock goes. So from the crash damage, I would say this thing is totaled. And when you add to it the jaws of life damage, I do have the top rack, but I do not, the roll cage, so to speak. I do not have any of the pieces that were cut off, this piece across there. And see that section, I don't seem to have that either. So I'm going to have to go with this frame is just completely totaled out. Even if one starts to say, well, I could cut this off and refabricate it and so forth, with the way the frame is torqued frames are very, very hard to bring back. You kind of bend things in the front the way they're supposed to be, and then in the back they're not, or the whole thing is just twisted. So yeah, unfortunately this thing is gone from that point of view. Everything considered, from the speed I'm told he was going when he hit, I mean, this is the steering shaft, and this is down by the rack and pinion. See how it's bent? And up here, this was cut off by the jaws of life. But everything considered, he's lucky for two reasons. First of all, that he didn't hit over here where the steering wheel was, because if you started to push this part back, I think the steering wheel would have done a lot more damage to him. So he did hit the cart where it most of the energy was taken up by the distortion of the cart, and not as much was transmitted to him. All in all, he's lucky. He really didn't do much more damage to himself. He's basically fine. He walked away from this having no more concussions recommended. So I think he physically he did pretty well for himself. But everything considered, he said he was blasting around pretty good, so this thing actually took a pretty good impact. He's a full-size person, which puts weight in there, which gives you more energy into running in if you run into something. So all in all, not that I recommend taking this and using it to stress test trees and itself. It actually took the hit pretty well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Looks like from a salvage point of view, I got the drive. Looks like I got the shocks, front tires, A-frame. I think this rack is okay. I'm not sure. I got to put something to that and give it a turn. Make sure nothing bent there. I wouldn't be surprised if something did. I got the pedals. I got the master cylinder. So I got quite a bit out of it. Normally I try to buy these things that need a little work for more like $400, but given that it's relatively new, I think I did okay. The engine does seem to run pretty good. Once again, more than I like to spend, but I kind of wanted the project. I kind of wanted the drive unit, so it cost what it cost. Okay, I want to thank everybody for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please be careful out there. You don't need to get hurt. Nobody does. And please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.